Hey, it's your girl Love Aretha. She is me and I am her. How y'all doing today? So listen, as y'all are aware, I got babies in every decade. Listen, I had a baby in the 60s. I had a baby in the 80s. I had a baby in the 99 to the 2000s. And your girl around here got a 2-year old. Look at you. So needless to say, there are various challenges going on in my life as we deal with all of my children and all of the different stages that they're in, right? And so now today that brings me to talk about what it's like having two full grown children. One of my sons is out on his own. My other adult daughter lives with her biological mom, and then I have my two oldest biological children that are still actively at home, and we're going through the transition process with them all, believe it or not, even at this stage. And so having grown children at home is definitely not without its challenges, and it is definitely not for the faint at heart. This junk is tough. Having full grown of age men and women. Here's what they don't realize. They don't realize you have the number, but you don't have the wisdom, right? The law says that you're grown, but your mind isn't there yet. And that is tough for the young people. And y'all know what it is. It was tough on us. And it is, I think, sometimes doubly tough on them in a lot of ways in the age of technology and everything that's going on in the world. So having my adult children at home, I won't lie, it does come with a lot of joys. They could be anywhere out in this world, zipping it and zooing it. Shout out to Miss Wendy. But they remain at home and they remain in the transition process, and quiet as it's kept. That's exactly where they need to be at this age in their lives. So, one of the challenges that we are going through with these grown ass kids is, as you probably can imagine, the attitude. That attitude. Listen, I'm about to send a summer gun to the upper room, with this god dang on me attitude. With the hormones raging, and we got jobs, and we got a boyfriend, and we got a girlfriend, and we think we grown, and it's man, the attitude is off the chain. And so me and my daughter, we had to have an honest conversation about it. We got into it about a week ago. As a matter of fact, a week ago last weekend, where she got in on her attitude. And I had to specifically stand up and tell her, you grown enough to have that kind of attitude, mama, it's time for you to move. It's time. Listen, that's an ugly truth, right? That we get to that place with our children where if you that grown, there right over there is the dope. If you're that grown, like, this is your trampoline part where we're teaching you how to jump so that you can then fly. It's not meant to be your punching bag for your hormones or whatever else the hell you got going on in your young life. And so that is one of the things I know for me that's intolerable. That's a hard rule. You ain't gonna stand up in my house and get no dog ass attitude with me. And so I think I've been too good of a mother, and I have not been perfect. I want to be very transparent about that. I have not been perfect. However, imperfections and all, I have been too good of a mother to then sit here in their adult lives and allow for disrespect. And I taught my kids, once you graduate from high school, your childhood obligation is over. And so it is, in a lot of ways, my parental obligation. We owe each other nothing. I've literally walked you to the door of adulthood for you to walk through. We owe each other nothing. Now we are in the process of establishing respect as adults who just so happen to be parent and child. Coco, nope, you cannot have those lashes. Okay, I'm sorry, back to y'all. So, you know, we are going through those stages, and when I am trying to walk through those stages alongside my children as gracefully as possible, because I understand that they are still growing. However, there are some things I won't take. Attitude, and that goes hand in hand with disrespect. That I won't take. So we have the attitude, and then we have it where you're so used to living in a space where you are a child, where there is an expectation for mommy to pay for everything while you keep all your money in your pocket because you're used to mommy doing what the mommy thing and taking care of it. No, no, homeboy, homegirl, it don't work that way. You know, you have at this stage in your life as a young adult, you have the responsibility of self. You have, so you do have to take care of yourself. You know, these are very selfish years of your life. I wish my dad was already dead by the time I got to this age that my children are now, which is 20, you know, in their early 20s. But I wish someone had to told me when I was their age how selfish these years should be. By the time I was my kids' age, I was taking care of my entire family. And then I also had my daughter in my very early 20s. And so that was an extra person that I was responsible for taking care of. I didn't take the time in my very young life to be selfish. And so I am encouraging my children, like, this is not a time for mommy to pay for everything, but this is a time for you to step in and start being selfishly, how do I say that? Selfishly take care of yourself, and not having to necessarily consider anyone else in a lot of ways. And that may sound cruel to some of you, and some of you may disagree, but everyone needs a point in their lives as you're building your life to only have to think about you. That's the purpose of not having children so early in your life, right? For those of us like me who had children early, you know what that means. That as our children get grown, we get to kind of reclaim some of that selfishness because we don't have to worry about them as much anymore. And we get to kind of, again, have that a little bit of that selfish period back in our lives that we sacrificed to be mothers and parents and fathers, right? So I'm teaching my children, no, the days of mommy paying for every little thing as it pertains to you, those days are over too, which is why mommy encouraged you to get your own job so that you can have your own money, so that you can make your own decisions, and you can afford those decisions. Let's be clear. Decisions cost money. Like, look at me, listen to me very clearly, nieces and nephews, listen to me very clearly, and some of y'all old folks too. Decisions cost money. Repeat after me. Decisions cost money. That's the point of teaching our children how to manage money, because we know that if you ain't got no money, guess what you ain't doing? You ain't making no decisions. So, therefore, mommy is not going to pay for everything. As a matter of fact, mommy's going to sit back and enjoy lunch on you from time to time, because that's one of the perks of having what? An adult child. And a productive adult child at that. And I encourage my parents out there, if you got a grown child that's living in your house that's not productive, you have my permission to kick that butt. And that doesn't mean hitting. Like, can we please break out of the adage that when we say kick your child's butt, that it means whooping and hitting and violence? That's not what I mean. It does mean, however, setting some parameters, setting some boundaries, and making your child get up. Listen, we didn't sacrifice these years to be parents to take care of these kids while they go out into the world and want to play, sleep until 11, 12 o'clock and get up and play Xbox all day and eat up your food and spend all your money and not be productive. Nope, no. That doesn't sound like the life I want to go into in my auntie years. No, I don't. I don't. I want to live my auntie years knowing that I have taught you to stand on your own. And another thing to my parents, let's be clear, it is not too late. If your child is 20, 21, and you on somewhere, I didn't teach them when they was kids, that's fine. That's fine, baby. You ever heard of it's better late than never. You better be late than never. Listen, start today. Put some parameters. I remember when I was encouraging my son to get a job, I was on his ears. You hear me? And I have no shame about it. I was on his ears every day. And he would be in his room and he'd be asleep and I'd wake him up. Oh no. Oh no. Because it was clear to me that he was under the impression that because he was getting up, that he was being productive. And I had to break that down really quickly. Hold on, mama. Oh, thank you, baby. I had to break that down for him very quickly, that just because you're waking up and you're not sleeping to 10 or 11 o'clock in the day, let's make no mistake about it, you're not being productive. You get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and you come in here and you watch television. That's not being productive, my love. And so now we are going to work on being productive now that we have a sound definition of the word productivity, right? And so I was on his butt to get him a job. It wasn't about the money. It was about the responsibility. It was about the fact that I want my son to one day be a productive and active and present husband and father. I don't want my daughter-in-law calling me one day to tell me, Miss Aretha, your son ain't working. Mama, Miss Aretha, your son ain't helping me with the kids. Mama, not mine. Not mine. Listen, I don't know about y'all. I promised mine when they were young that the last thing I'm gonna do is sit here and assist you in being nothing. I will assist you in being the United States of the entire world, Craig. The United States of the world, Craig. I'll help you. Mama gonna be right there behind you. But to be king of nothing, to be queen of unproductive, I don't want to post that. That don't sound good to me. That's not sexy at all. We ain't doing that. We ain't doing that nowhere around here. Nowhere around here are we participating in nothing. That we ain't gonna do. And you can call it whatever you want. You can say, Mama, you're being unfair to me, and Mama, I'm gonna report you for child abuse, and Mommy, you shouldn't raise your voice. You can call it whatever the hell you want it. Out there. Out there, in here, in the house that I provide is for the productive. Take that with you. Take that with you, darling. And so there we have it. I was on his butt, and he later told me, he was like, Mama, I was under a lot of pressure, and I was like, pressure he under? So I went to him and I was like, son, if you don't mind my asking, what kind of pressure were you under? And he was like, well, it was you, Mama. It was you. You were the pressure. And I ain't sorry. Come here. I ain't sorry. No, we ain't. And guess what? He's been working ever since. He's been working. He is surprisingly good with his money. He doesn't go on a spending spree. He's quite thrifty, and I'm very proud of him. But it took, right? That didn't just happen. It took being present. It took having a relationship, seeing where he went wrong, and also encouraging them to listen. And that's another thing when we talk about attitudes, when we talk about you getting disrespectful. If you're too grown to listen, you have no place in your parents' house anymore, right? And so those are just a couple of the things that we have struggled with as we transition and evolve in this parent-child relationship. So with your parent and child relationship, definitely changes and evolves. And that's my tip to parents too. You know, we talked about the kids with their attitude. We talked about not letting the kids be productive. And one of the tips before I get out of here that I think would be good for us parents, please evolve with your children. You know, you can't talk to your 20-year-old child like they're 5. You know, that doesn't work anymore. We have to step back, and respect these kids as being young adults. You know, I always give the adage, when my children were young, I stand in front of them, right? Everything that hits them, it goes through me first for the most part. Now, we know we can't protect them from everything, but life goes through us as the parent first, because I'm standing guard, I'm standing in front of you. By the time these kids get to definitely about 8th, ninth grade, 10th grade, I'm standing shoulder to shoulder with you. We are making the decisions for your life together. When I stand in front of you, I'm making the decisions on your behalf. Now we're shoulder to shoulder. I'm making all of these decisions with you, right? We're making them together. We're figuring out what's best for you. I have my parental boundaries in place, and we have what you want in place, and we blend that up, and we make decisions based on what that criteria, what becomes of that criteria after that, right? And then now, as they are adults, now we stand behind them. I'm not in front of my children. I'm not making their decisions. I'm not disrespecting them to make those decisions for them. Instead, I stand behind them, and I don't look over their shoulders, and I don't look over every decision they make. My mama did me like that. Always felt watched. I don't look over their shoulders and watch for every dime they spend, every decision they make, and question them. No, I give them the space to make their own decisions. I do give them advisement, but I have to respect when they don't take it, and I stand behind them to guide them. I am always there, and I am always in mommy mode, but I have learned to be quiet in it. Just because I am the parent does not mean that I always get the right to speak. And I am learning to know, you know what? To be quiet. One of the most powerful and liberating things as a parent, when you learn how to do it, is to shut the up.